Today we'll be reading The Gleam of Kiirium by Michael Kogge. Cache data grab of former University of Ruuria network site attributed to Professor S.V. Skynx, Emeritus Chair of the Department of History. Network address invalid as of 11 ABY. Initial note from Professor Skynx. The publishers of the Despotica reader refused to print this entry for fear of endorsing an artist universally regarded as too despicable to be seriously read. I have posted the monologue here on my network site, not to praise the work of Asenec, but to allow the reader to be the ultimate judge of its merit, truth, and beauty. Surveys of interspecies prejudices taken since the original light consistently reiterate one fascinating statistic. A majority of the galactic population seems to possess an innate disgust for all things gastropodic. Such bigotry infects even the bellwether of liberal thought, literary criticism. 700 years after the death of the lauded Hutt dramatist, Darius Pay, many reviewers still snub any work of merit produced by a slug. The croak poet Asenec, a member of an exceedingly rare but purportedly diminutive and slimier analog species to the Hutts, receives even harsher treatment. No writer in the civilized galaxy is banned more widely and vehemently than Asenec of Crakull. Discrimination alone does not deserve the full blame for this broad censorship. Asenec appears to have written his poems primarily to sicken, repel, and offend. His verses celebrate the satisfaction of revenge, revel in the squeezing of ooze, commemorate the outrages of tyrants, and depict irradiated wastelands as milieus of breathtaking beauty. Exceeding the galactic canon of authors in misanthropy and spite, Asenec is our great poet of the darkness, whose volumes are rumored to have enjoyed a place on the shelves of Emperor Palpatine himself. Given his poetic fondness for villainy, Asenec seems a match made in the Stelbringian hells to take on the diabolical legend of Xim the Despot as a subject for a poem. Yet the Gleam of Kiirium, the poet's sole contribution to the compendium of Xim miscellanea, known as the Despotica, is unlike anything in his oeuvre. Alleged to have been composed during the Croak's protracted death wriggles, the dramatic monologue of a Duinarbulan star lancer bears Asenec's signature salute to tyranny, yet is also imbued with a doomed and dare say romantic sense of sadness. The nameless soldier of the poem, relishing the chance to fight for her beloved Xim in the Second Battle of Vontor, makes a soul-wrenching discovery when Xim and his forces blast off, having used the Star Lancers as a distraction to cover his mining and plunder of Vontor's Kiirium lodes. The somber conclusion the soldier comes to at the end reads as heresy to the unremitting animosity of Asenec's other poems. Some critics even charge that The Gleam of Kiirium is not Asenec's work at all, but a clever devotee's attempt to make their favorite poet more palatable to a larger audience. Recent speculation pegs the monologue's origins to an ancient authorless tome excavated in the great Duinarbulan mausoleum, though the archaeologist in charge, Henrietta Antilles, rebuffs such claims. A more comforting interpretation is that this vicious croak, near the end of his hate-filled life, experienced a dim epiphany of light. The Gleam of Kiirium by Asenec of Crakull, born 593 BBY, died 244 BBY. Translated from Tundan by Kiekal Zzoh. 1. Xim of the ravenous blue eyes, the thewy fist, the tremulous tiny to-in, these emblems of my lord, my beloved, my despot, embroidered in the Kiirium coat of my ionic mail, a vision enough to send enemy legions fleeing their own lasers, and to warm me on bitter nights when the stars are silent. Xim, never have I seen your flesh, though your every wish is mine. For you understand the ambitious, the unslaked, you understand the small. You understand we must rob so as to rise, because what is theirs was but another's stolen. A universe under your venal gaze, Kron corrupted to your command, Barsig but a bug, and now on to Vontor, the glow pearl in the rough, a playpen for Hutts, to be yours and mine, and ours. Xim, I am wedded to you by the lance, forged by the craftiest of all Duin smiths, its handle twined in Raxan seaweed, its vamplate a Kiirium mirror like my mail, its shaft a stake for slugs and all their slime, its barb sprinkled with malachite, a death knell to all who would poison our union. 2. Vontor, at last, a world of cinder and ash and veins of Kiirium gold, gleaming from the stars, though dull on the surface. Is this what cost us the first battle? A palmful of pebbles blown away by breath, dust, blinding dust. But that which the bots dig, we of the lance pledge to defend. Dust with our blood. Duin, of the Arbulon sons, why suddenly I dream of you. Depart, nightmare. Restless under the Vontorian moons, lines drawn, war waiting for its bell, and I in the grip of my other love, my first, they never last. A world unknown to dust, its jewels green fields and flowers, trumpets heralding grand tournaments where names are won and lost. Flags rippling in the breeze, crowds on their feet, Galdrian mustang barely broken to my heels, pounding toward the elder knight, interloper of our age. His armor, the gift of a Duke of Desevro, an insult. His charger, a colt of Kron, a crime. His sneer, hateful of youth, ambition, of you, Xim, of us. He speaks so many traitorous things, claims he's only fighting for the money, says you are nothing more than a rich hut. It feeds my anger and my love. Then the joust comes to destiny, his lance the longer, mine the smaller. For size, what is size in war but weight? Clang, slide, break. The barb pierces, injects, my first victim, my first victory. The elder's sneer bends in the mirror of my lance, held aloft between our suns, blue orbs that remind me of you. Cossack, my stomach turned at dawn, that ugly sight. How can it be that a hut has blue eyes? That his is the flesh I behold. Yet there he is, in all his girth, to rally and lick his toads. Before the dust dries out their slime. Bang! The drums beat, a bell tolls, the armies march to line. I leap upon my Galdrian, and join the gallop, to cry your name, my love, and wave that worm on my lance. 3. Xim, did you not hear my cry? Do you not see my blood? Brutes they were, the vermin, horde after endless horde. Jailurian dervishers on Cyborian battle mounts, weakways without braids. 1,000 or more vanquished on my lance alone, broken now but a stick. Seaweed untwined, vamplate cracked, malachite drenched in antidote, my spit. While your star drives boomed, blinding us with storms, how could you leave your legions, your lancers, your love, for but a load of dust? How could you? Xim, whom have I loved? What have I dreamed? Precious life, flesh, nibbled away by scavenging necks, stolen. I want it back. Mail ripped and tossed. Ions, no defense against teeth. Like a shroud my coat of Kiirium falls, and in the mirror's gleam I see what the elder saw. Xim, your eyes, and never blue. I hope you've enjoyed this reading of the Gleam of Kiirium.